to Get Real with Asil, a women empowerment podcast hosted by Asil Al-Baba. Good morning and welcome to your Fun Friday episode with Get Real with Asil. Today is Friday, May 12th, 2017. What I have prepared for you today is actually fun facts that I've gathered from funslides.com about women. Some of these facts are just fun to know, and others are interesting to look deeper into. So they've inspired me to potentially gather more information to share in future episodes. So I hope you enjoy them because they're really interesting. So the first one is, women speak about 20,000 words a day. That's 13,000 more than the average man. I don't think anybody would be surprised by that. So it's pretty known that women do talk and express their emotions and thoughts on a much deeper level than a man does. Women in ancient Rome wore the sweat of the gladiators to improve their beauty and complexion. I cannot imagine how that must have felt like, but interesting fact. The average woman in the UK owns 19 pairs of shoes, but only wears 7, which is something I guess is more universal than just the UK. I personally can so much relate to that. I even own probably more than 19 pairs of shoes, and there's only a few of them that I actually wear on a regular basis. In Russia, there are 9 million more women than men. That is crazy. Jamaica, Colombia, and St. Lucia are the only countries where a woman is more likely to be the boss than a man. I'd probably want to move there. Here's an interesting one. The United Arab Emirates has the biggest gender imbalance in the world, with 219 men for every 100 women. That's crazy because this is one of the countries where the Islamic rules apply and men are allowed to marry up to 4 women. So looking at these statistics, it probably should be the other way around, but I doubt they would be receptive of that feedback. The smallest wage gap between men and women is to be found in New Zealand, which is under 5%. But wage gap continues to be, until this day, a very controversial topic across the world. And a lot of women express frustration at the fact that wage gaps still exist, and sometimes up to 20% or more. So it's really something that women continue to work hard on in order to bridge that gap. And I'm pretty sure it's not something we'll give into until equality is actually expressed in the workforce. 40% of the births in the US come from unmarried women. Now, this is something I probably want to dig into deeper. Not the statistic itself, but the form of a family as we know it. Traditionally, you would think that a family constitutes of a man, a woman, and they give birth to children and they raise them together. But now that families are becoming more complex and there's more, let's say, homosexual relationships, like a man with a man raising a child, or a woman with a woman raising a child, or even transgenders, or just the concept of sex in its own is really expanding. Also, the concept of a family is evolving. So it's interesting to look into and maybe talk to social scientists and psychologists about this matter to see, are we as humans evolving? Are our needs evolving? Because if traditionally it's assumed that in order to raise a child properly in this world, he or she needs the attentive care from both genders, the mother and the father. But in today's society, that's not what's happening. There's so much more complexities and so much more arrangements and just so much more variety of things and options that we're seeing that never existed before. So this one statistic here inspired me to look into more details about what it entails to actually raise a family, and if the concept of a family is changed altogether. So obviously there's lots of single mothers, but that's just one side of the story. I just took it to another level and I explored all sorts of different other family structures. But it's just something to note and something interesting to look into. So keep that in mind. I will look into it for future episodes because it is something that intrigues my interest, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would like to just engage in this debate and see what it is or what it means to raise a family in today's society, and where is it that we cross the line, if there's a line anymore. I mean, who knows where that line is anymore. So women spend nearly 1 year of their lives deciding what to wear. Hallelujah. Now that I read that, it is a frustrating thing. Obviously, every day I spend time planning my day, and I'm pretty sure a lot of women relate to that. My sister's even much worse, because my sister could look at her closet and see like a whole bunch of options and just start complaining that she has nothing to wear. And that's not just her. I mean, it's just a very common thing among women. And honestly, I don't know what it is. I sometimes do that myself as well. I don't know what it is. It's just a fun fact. Men were the first to wear high heels around 1600. Women began wearing them to look more masculine. Isn't that crazy? I had no idea. So actually heels were invented for men originally. I just can't imagine men wearing heels these days. Women have more taste buds than men. Women can get pregnant even 5 to 8 days after having sex. That's crazy. 68% of women say they would have an affair if they knew they could get away with it. This is another statistic that I personally wanted to explore even further, because I'm personally very much interested in today's relationships. Traditionally as well, we note relationships to be monogamous, and that was pretty much the rule anywhere you go in the world. But as we're evolving, new type of arrangements are coming along. I actually recently heard this TED Talk called Monogamish, which is a different type of arrangements to enhance the relationship between a man and a woman, a married man and a married woman in that case. And it's just arrangements where I'll actually dedicate an episode for that at a later point, and I'll explore this topic. It just startling to me that 68% of women would actually opt to having an affair if they can get away with it. It just doesn't sound right to me. I don't know where the statistics come from. I would like to think we're more faithful than the statistics propose, but who knows? I mean, it could be the truth. I know there's always a side of us that's just wild, and a side of us that wants adventure, but I doubt that we would like to achieve these results by deception and by cheating. So it's something I'll explore further at a future episode. Only 2% of women describe themselves as beautiful. This is another startling fact, actually, that I was surprised to. Well, in a way, it was surprising in a way because it's too low. But after reading it, I said, well, it's true. Like, I know a lot of beautiful women who just go through so much self-doubt on a daily basis. And it is something that aggravates me. And it's something I personally struggle with as well. And this is one of the reasons I had an eating disorder. There's just times where I looked at myself in the mirror and I just hated what I saw. Even though I don't think I'm an ugly girl, but I don't know why I was just so self-consumed with this idea. Well, I actually do know why. I was considered ugly growing up in school. I was bullied for it, but it's just something that stuck with me. This one's random. Over 80% of women wear the wrong bra size. How's that even possible? Well, maybe they wear it smaller. I don't know. But this one's really interesting. In China, women who remain unmarried in their late 20s are called Chang Nu, which means leftover women. Actually, that made me really laugh so hard because I'm in my late 20s now, so I'm probably a Shang Nu in China. But I highly doubt this is the case in North American cultures. Women just get married any age and it's fine. In the 19th century, doctors treat hysteria in women by inducing orgasms. This is how the vibrator was invented. Pretty interesting. Like, let's look into the history of vibrators. Over 200 women have run for presidents in the United States. That was actually an interesting fact to come across because I never, beyond Hillary Clinton, which was very recent, I don't really know any other women who ran for the election for the presidency. But yet, I'm not a huge political fan, so I don't follow much of it. But it's just interesting to see that. Last but not least, I'm pretty sure a lot of the listeners out there can relate to that. Whether you're a man or a woman, you would agree with it. According to a UK study, the average woman spends 17 years of her life dieting. Well, I must say, I actually thought it would be even higher. But it goes well with the 2% of us describing ourselves as beautiful. So if we're always sitting in this self-worth that's not really compatible with what we want it to be. So we want to be beautiful, we want to be strong, we want to be just our best selves and showing up our best selves to the world every day. But we're stuck in this voice in our head where we're putting ourselves down, whether it's because of the way we look, or whether because nothing fits us today, or we're bloated, or we just don't feel good enough, or we're emotional. Like, I don't know what it is about women that makes them as insecure as they are. And it's a common universal issue. Anywhere you go in the world and you speak to women, there's a lot of commonalities by the way we talk to ourselves and the way we feel about ourselves, and therefore the way we show up on a daily basis, whether it's at work or whether it's in our families or in our societies. We're holding ourselves back without realizing. And it starts with the self-dialogue we're having. So this is very interesting for me, and I certainly want to explore it further in order to come up with ways to improve our self-worth and self-image and dialogue, and just show our best version so that we can actually conquer the things we want to do and live life with abundance and passion. So I hope you enjoyed the fun facts that I gathered for you today on a fun Friday. And I wish you an amazing weekend ahead. And I just thank you again for tuning in and listening to Get Real with a Seal. I look forward to future episodes where we can learn, grow, and absolutely get real together. Take care.